Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Jayhawker podcast. My name is Nate Bukaty, and I'm really excited about the special guest we've got joining us. David Coit from the University of Kansas basketball team will be joining us in just a moment. But first, I want to thank our sponsors as always. The Jayhawker podcast is brought to you by the University of Kansas Health System, by Black & Veatch, and by the Next Generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now. With that, Let's get right to it, because this is an interview I'm really looking forward to with Kansas guard David Coit. Coming off of a really big game for the Kansas Jayhawks as they got a win against Central Florida. Diggy, how are you, man?
I'm great. Appreciate you for having me.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, I don't know you like that to where I can call you by your nickname. So do you prefer if somebody just meets you for the first time? Are you David? Are you Diggy? Like how should I address you in a situation like this?
It don't really matter to me. Whatever works best for you. I don't really care.
How would you introduce yourself? Like if we were meeting in person for the first time.
I would introduce myself as David for sure.
Okay.
Just because being formal, but I don't.
Yeah.
Depending on where we at, if you was in the gym or something like that, I'd probably say Diggy, but depends on where we at.
Okay, well, I want to be respectful. As I meet you for the first time, I mentioned that I was super excited to talk to you because, just like full disclosure, I'm a member of the short guy fraternity. I'm 5'8", and for
Sure.
me, now listen, clearly, I was limited athletically as well, but being 5'8", it was hard enough just to make the high school basketball team. Like it's a big man's game, and so I felt like I had to do everything I could just to be a mediocre high school basketball player at my size. So whenever I see somebody that's like under 5'10" at the Division I level, especially at a program like Kansas doing their thing, I'm just full of admiration. So right off the bat, I find myself rooting for you when I watch you play. And I'm curious, like every minute I ever playing basketball, I was aware of my size and what I had to do to overcome it. Are you like that? Like what's it like for you being a shorter guy playing in a big man's world?
I don't really think of it a lot, obviously, just because I've been short my whole life. So obviously I've been playing against high level people my whole life. So it's not really something I think about at all. I just understand the game is a little different for me. I have to do different more things, be a little bit more gritty, be a little bit more hungry, obviously more determined, more hardworking. Got to do the little things more. But at this point, I'm used to it, so it's not anything I have to think about or that I feel like I don't see that. I know other people see, obviously, when they're watching the games, they think about, oh, he's small, but when I'm on the court, I don't even acknowledge that.
You don't play small. I mean, that's one of the things you had 4 rebounds the other day. That's one of the things I admire is you play big. You play bigger than maybe the roster, height would say that you are, but you did say something. You said, look, you always knew you had to work harder, be grittier. I think that's one of the reasons that a person like myself admires you, because I know you had to work harder. Like I know how the game works. Do you remember a time growing up when that became apparent to you? You know what I mean? Like when it was like, okay, the ball's up there, the rim's, and I gotta do my thing. Do you remember any kind of aha moments like that growing up?
I don't remember any aha moments. I do remember a conversation that I had with my oldest sister and my father, and him just telling me that I needed to play faster. I needed to play more grittier. I just played too cool, and at my size and my height, it wouldn't work for me. So that was something that I had to really lock in on and take that conversation and reflect on, and then realize obviously they wouldn't be telling me this if they weren't trying to help me. So just hearing that from them, and I think that was around when I was a freshman in high school. So that's basically when I was able to make the change.
So we look, reading up on you when you decided to make the transfer to Kansas. I saw stories when you were in junior college about they had to call the security because you were trying to the gym at 2:00 in the morning to get some shots up. And then I think when you were at Northern Illinois, they said that you outdid your work on the side by 250 hours and all that stuff. Is that all a byproduct of it? I mean, tell me where that mindset came from, where you were always willing to put that extra work in.
Yeah, I think it was just I think I just seen that it worked for me. You know what I'm saying? I think I just seen that. Obviously, I always wanted to be better, and I always wanted to like lock in more. But I think going into my junior college year, it's like I always worked hard, but I definitely that whole year of COVID, I just took it to another level just because I wanted to see different type of results. And I understood that I needed to do more because I wasn't in a position I wanted to be in. So I understand that I need to devote my life to what I wanted and my dreams. And I think my family did a great job of just supporting me through that time. My family and friends did a great job just supporting me through that time and just allowing me to just be me, but allowing me to fully invest myself in what I want to do. Because I love basketball. I love it. This is my life. This is I'm living my dream, but I understood that I wasn't always living my dream, and I understood that I knew it was going to take extra work. And once I started to put the extra work in and separate myself from the people around me, and then I started to see the benefits and the results from it, I think I just became addicted to what I was doing. So I just wanted to
Mm.
always fully invest myself in the gym and understanding just like this year, never knowing when my moment was gonna be called, never knowing, obviously not knowing, and I came late. So I'm just trying to fully invest myself again another year to the work and just to be ready. And I think that's what I was doing, and I think it's been paying off. So that's just something I feel like I'm always gonna do, and regardless of what I do, I'm always gonna apply myself and invest myself 100%. You know, so
Man, I hope young people are watching this and listening to the words of advice that you're giving right now. And it's making me think of something that I was listening to a conversation actually with Howard Stern, and he was talking with Jerry Seinfeld, but somehow they got into talking about Michael Jordan. It was when
mhm.
the documentary The Last Dance came out,
Yeah,
and they were talking about how hard Jordan worked, how he was willing to do so much more than everybody else.
mhm.
And Seinfeld said, "Look, when you love something with all your heart, you don't think of it as outworking somebody else.
Yeah,
You're doing it because you love it." Like he said, as a comedian, he never sat up at night writing jokes late thinking to himself, "Oh man, I'm grinding right now. I'm working so much harder than everybody else." He was writing jokes because he was thinking, "I'm gonna write the best joke that's ever been written." And he was
yeah.
excited by that. Was that your mentality when you're at the gym at 2 o'clock in the morning getting shots up?
Yeah, I think that's your mentality. Obviously, I love it and understanding that I know I'm understanding that you can't obviously comparison is a thief of joy. So I understand I can't keep comparing myself and what I'm trying to do and trying to see what others is doing. But I know if I make the most of what I have and make the most of what I'm doing in my day-to-day life, then I know I'm going to get the best result. But obviously, the work doesn't feel like work because it's like I love being in the gym, I love shooting, I love playing basketball. So it's more like this is a time I get to be away from the world and free my mind. So it's like
Mm.
I definitely understand that doing what you love just it's a different type of feeling when you're just doing exactly what you want to do. And especially now, it's like I made it past my expectations and everybody's expectations for me. So it's like now I'm literally just doing what I love. And I'm just trying to continue to prove myself right and just live my life.
Made it past your expectations. So what were your
Yeah.
expectations? Like what did you think you were capable of as a basketball player?
Um, I always said I knew I wanted to get to this point, but I never thought I would. Obviously, I wasn't like you said, I was a small guard, undersized. I was overweight when I was younger, so a lot of it was like, yeah, I want to do that, but it didn't look like I was gonna be able to achieve those things. And I feel like a lot of people around me were trying to sway me away from my dreams. And I think when COVID happened, obviously I went to prep school, was under recruited, wasn't recruited a lot. I wasn't in school. I kind of made like a do or die decision. It was like, I'm gonna just go all in and I'm gonna just see where this gets me. Like if I go all in, if I change my diet, I work my tail off every day. I'm gonna just see, I'm gonna roll the dice and see where it get me. And then I was able to go JUCO, able to go Division 1, and obviously able to transfer here. But I didn't know how far I would get. I just kind of stopped forgetting about it, stopped thinking about how far I could go, and just be like, all right, whatever happens, happens. At least I know I fully put myself in, and I fully put myself in a position to reach the highest level that I could reach. So I definitely exceeded my expectations.
There's another message there. Set your
Yeah,
dreams even higher than other people tell you are capable, right? Because you can
yeah,
accomplish
for
more than
sure,
even you think sometimes, right?
for sure, for sure, for sure.
So I want to go back to you've referenced COVID a couple of times.
Mhm.
And I think about this a lot because for a gray hair like me, COVID was rough. Like going through the isolation and not getting to do the things you want to do and all that stuff, seeing sports get put on hold. But I
Yeah,
always thought it would be way worse if I was a young person like in high school or college, missing out on my graduation or missing out on, college is such a social time in your life when you're out having fun with
yeah.
your friends, whether that's playing ball or going to parties or going to school or whatever. To miss out on that would be worse than being a grown up, doing it. What are your reflections on it? Like, what was that time like for you? Sounds like you took it to your advantage and went to the gym and everything. But what do you remember about going through that period of time in your life?
I think I kind of always felt behind, like not being recruited. So that was kind of a time where like the world was on pause and I could catch up in
Mm,
how I wanted to look, how I wanted to play, how I wanted to do things. I can remember in the moments my great grandmother passed from COVID. So that was like
mm,
tough for the family. I mean, I feel like she brought the family together a lot. Well, so during that time, that was tough. But coming out of that, I think it was just a time where I felt like I said I was behind. So now it's like I could even the playing field. I could get because like I said, I was overweight. So I lost like 35 pounds during COVID. Just working out, running and stuff like that. So I'm like, I could get my conditioning and I could really take this time to my advantage. And it's like if I could cut down on my weight and I could pass the eye test, obviously being short, but if I could pass the eye test, get in the best shape of my life, I feel like my skills is there. So all I need to do that. By the time the world come back, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna get my moment. I'm being so delusional. I didn't know, but I'm just like I'm telling myself like as soon as this COVID is up, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready for my shot. Nobody just gotta put me in the gym and I'll be good. That's how I was thinking. So every day I'm just thinking like that. Like soon as COVID's out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. And so when COVID was up, obviously it didn't happen. I didn't just get a call from Duke or Kansas or Kentucky. Like you come to school, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely I got a call from my mentor, one of the closest people to me, Alan Ragland, who was ended up being my coach at junior college, with another mentor, close friend of mine, Jamal Edwards, who was the athletic director. They were both coaching at Atlantic Cape. So Rags, we call him Rags. He had called me saying like, listen, obviously you're not in school. You took a year off, but I still want you to play. I still want you to do whatever. Last time he had seen me, I was probably like 30, 35 pounds heavier, like I said. So he didn't even know that I cut weight and did all that because I just kind of went AWOL and just went to work. So he had called me and said, listen, I don't want to send you anywhere to another JUCO because I don't know. I can't trust what anybody's going to do with you. I feel like your best decision is to stay here in Jersey, come to JUCO with me. And I promise you, if you do everything I tell you to do, I'm going to change your life. I didn't want to do it because I'm like, listen, I've been home. Obviously, I've been home from high school. I've been home since like this COVID. I've been in the house all day. If I either was working out, delivering pieces, or in the house. So I'm like, I really ain't trying to go. So he was like, trust me, I promise you I'm gonna change your life. So my father took me there. It was like an hour away from where I live, down by Atlantic City. Took me there. He didn't see me for like a year. Obviously, before COVID, he seen me. So once he seen me cut down on the weight, he like, oh, what's going on? And then we end up having a workout in the gym, and he could just see that I just got way better from where I was before. And I actually like I was taking it like serious. I always took it serious, but I just felt like my life depended on it at that time because I kind of put all my eggs in one basket. So that happening, he's seeing me. He like, listen, trust me, please come here. I promise you'll be an All-American. If you work hard, you'll be an All-American, and you'll be a Division I player. Like before the season even starts, you'll be a Division I player. I promise you. And I think him and Jamal Edwards, they lived up to everything they told me. And I was an All-American. I led the nation in scoring and changed my life. So,
Man, this is great. This is great stuff. Have you ever heard the phrase "chaos is a ladder"?
nah, never in my life.
So that's some advice that it was given to me one time in my life when in my career there was a lot of upheaval, and
Hmm.
people didn't know what was going to happen next. And a
Yeah,
mentor said to me, "Hey, chaos is a ladder. While
yeah,
everybody else is sitting around feeling sorry for themselves or just having a tough
yeah,
time, if you put the work in, you actually have a chance to really take advantage of this moment in time, climb the ladder. That's what I'm thinking of when you talked about like when the world was shut down, you didn't sit there and say, well, what am I going to do? You were like, this is my opportunity to make my move. That's an amazing level of mental awareness for a kid, you know, like, why do you think you had that mindset at that age in your life?
I think I had a great support system. I had two parents in the household who believed in me. I had two older sisters who believed in me. I had great friends, great mentors. I just had people around me that seen what I could do and felt like I really could do it. So they always gave me the best advice. My brother-in-law always gave me the best advice. My best friends always gave me the best advice. It was like, it kind of was the perfect storm. Like everybody around me really believed that I could do it and knew that I just needed an opportunity. And I knew in the back of my head that before, if I had got my opportunity, I wouldn't be fully ready. So I just had to focus on being ready for the opportunity and making sure that there was no excuse, and make sure I was in the best shape, making sure that my shot was there, my defense, my IQ. I was watching basketball every day, making sure that I was beginning to start like what I thought of being sharp was. And I think their support system and kind of how they always trained my mind to be. I like when I was younger, I had to grow up faster. I had to see things faster. So it was like I had to understand things and I had to be more mature for my age. So I feel like credit to my family, my friends, and the people around me. I feel like they gave me the best advice and they just gave me the best support system. And I know that they still do now. So obviously it's a blessing. It really is.
Being around people that'll give you real advice is a
Yeah,
blessing, but you also have to be willing to listen to it.
for
Some
sure.
people want to listen to, you can surround yourself with people that tell you what you want to hear, right? But I'm guessing some of those people that gave you advice, sometimes it was stuff that you didn't necessarily want to hear or was hard to hear.
Yeah, for
And you
sure.
had to listen to that anyway, right? Can you think
For
of any
sure.
examples of that?
I think probably the biggest example I would say was just like talking to my mentors, talking to people is just like you got to get in shape. It was the craziest thing that happened. This is before I went JUCO. One of my best friends, his name is Jalen Gaffney. He played at UConn, went to FAU. He's playing overseas now. His father taught me how to play basketball. So his father, AD Gaffney, taught me how to play basketball. We in a car one day. This is probably like when COVID is about to be ending. I lost all the weight, whatever the case may be. I'm trying to figure out like where I'm gonna go, whatever. So I went to a open run at Monmouth University. Playing against the team, I was playing very well, killing. Sometimes coaches. It was like in the summer. Sometimes coaches pop their head in there just to see like is the team in there. All right, cool, just leave, whatever. A couple of the players and a couple of the assistant coaches had been like hearing what's going on, hearing about me. Jagan Mosley, who went to Georgetown, he had took me there. That's one of my good friends, Jagan Mosley. Definitely somebody who helped me along the journey, try to help me, give me opportunities. So it's people like that while I talk about my support system. He had took me there. He like, listen, you just got to get around, start playing more in these runs where it's Division I players, so you could test yourself. Obviously, you good, but you got to start putting yourself in these rooms. So he started helping me out. He was taking me to these runs because obviously I wasn't a known person. I wasn't gonna be able to get into the open gyms and all that, like with high level competition. So he took me there. The first time I went there, I didn't really get on the court. Second time I went there, I dominated. Third time I went there, I dominated. So the players and the assistant coaches kind of hear what's going on. Like this kid that's from Jersey, he really good, he around, whatever the case may be. So they end up contacting me later down the line. One of the assistant coaches that contacted me later down the line to get an opportunity. Saying that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna end up going JUCO. I didn't know what JUCO I was going to. I'm gonna end up going JUCO, whatever the case may be. Blah blah blah. They was like, all right, we're gonna stay in touch. We're gonna recruit you. Boom. So they ended up not recruiting me. Heart broke, obviously, because I'm thinking I'm right here. I finally got my moment. I finally got a chance. Obviously, I could be home. I'm thinking of the best case scenario. So I was telling AD Gaffney, who taught me how to play, my best friend's father, taught me how to play basketball. So we in the car. We going to watch Jalen's little brother, one of his sons, play. So we in the car. I'm telling about the story. I'm just telling like it's some BS, man. Like I know I'm good enough. They seen I was good enough. They told me they was going like recruit me, and then they stopped. He told me something I didn't want to hear, and was like, "Listen, if somebody wants you, they're gonna offer you. They're not gonna tell you. They're gonna call you later. They're not gonna do none of that. What you need to do is go to one of these little schools around here. That's a JUCO, whatever the case may be. Go to one of these schools around here. Go crazy. Do what we know you could do, and then you'll find your way, and God will make a way for you. Like, I don't want to hear about you doing this. Is what you need to do. You're gonna go to one of these schools, and you're gonna make it happen." Week later, that's when Rags called me, and I'm like, "Yo." So, but in that moment, I really didn't want to hear that because I felt like he thought I wasn't good enough, but he really was telling me the truth, which I learned later, obviously in the transfer portal when I got a, all these offers. Is that when a coach wants you on it, somebody they'll make a way for you, and they'll show you. So it was like it hurt my chest, like I felt uncomfortable in the car, but he told me what I needed to hear, and I didn't want to hear that, and I appreciate him every day because he always tell me what I need to hear, no matter what. He's gonna tell me what I need to hear. So that's somebody else who's another father figure to me that told me something I really didn't want to hear, but ended up helping me.
Man, my just to relate, just to relate, man. Like I figured out I wasn't ever going to be like a D1 athlete a little bit sooner because I just didn't, look, I just didn't have it. But I was able to play some high school sports. But I figured out, okay, I want to be a sports broadcaster. That's what I set my goal and my dreams at. And I had some people along the way tell me, hey, man, you're good at this. You can do it. And my professor, my first day of college at the University of Kansas, told me, man, you're not going to make it in this business because your voice isn't good deep enough. You're not going to make it. And I felt sorry for myself all the way back home, And then I turned back around and I said, you know what? I got cut from the basketball team my sophomore year of high school, but then I was a starter my senior year. I'm not going to just give up that easy, right? Like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to prove to you that I'm good enough to do this, or at least give it a shot. I'm not going to have any regrets about it. And there's this weird, when you have that in your life, right? You have some people that believe in you and other people that tell you you don't have what it takes. To me, like, it gives you this, like, you have a sense of confidence and belief in yourself, but a humility at the same time to know it's not going to be easy. That's what I see in you. I see a guy who believes in himself, but also has no illusions about like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like, I'm just going to go out there and play my game. Do you feel like that's an accurate description of yourself? A person with humility, but confidence all at the same time?
Yeah, definitely. Understanding that I could be in a worse situation. Understand that everything happens for a reason. I'm here for a reason. It's gonna be ups and downs. So never to get too high, too low, just be even kill. Understanding that I think I could accomplish anything. I think I could be the best. I think I could do all these things, but also understand that I could be put in positions where I'm the worst. There could be everything. I could miss every shot. I could miss every opportunity. So it's just about understanding that you can be in a worse position. You can have bad things happen to you, but it's just about how you gonna act when it happens. How you gonna act when the ups and downs happen. Just keeping that mentality. So I think that is a good description, but it's also understanding that everything happens for a reason. We all here for a reason. So I'm just trying to make the most of my opportunity. That's why I'm being here. So
When you're a kid in New Jersey and you know all these basketball programs on the East Coast and all that, when did Kansas even become something you knew about? Did you know anything about the University of Kansas when you were coming up and all that?
I would say obviously not what I know now, but Frank Mason and Devontae Graham. That was like the two people that I knew, like smaller guards that I seen play at a high level that I got to catch their games. I'm just like, these two are they amazing. That's what I thought. So I think obviously when I heard of Kansas and when Coach Self started recruiting me, those are the first two names that popped up in my mind. Like, I remember them two small guards, and I thought they was amazing. They definitely inspired me when I was young. A lot of the small guards did, and there was definitely two of them that really did inspire me. So I didn't really know much about Kansas, but I just remember them two like really putting on the show every time I felt like they got on the court. So
okay, so I've seen the quotes from you. You scored like crazy in JUCO. You scored like crazy at Northern Illinois. But you said right when you got to Kansas, look, I've never been surrounded by this level of talent, the other players that are out here. So you didn't expect to come out and score 20 a game at the University of Kansas. And I've seen your quotes that you've said, This is about winning. This isn't about me. I don't really care about my individual stats. I think it's easy to say that, but then when you're going out there and you're busting your butt in practice every day and you're going through all the things you have to go through, and then you're not getting that many minutes, it would be easy for a lot of people to get sour or to think about themselves. Everybody I've talked to says you've kept this fantastic attitude this whole season, and then you get your chance because Juan got hurt the other day. How did you keep that positive mentality? Why were you able to stay locked in on the team instead of just yourself through all of this?
Like you said, I never played with this talent. I've never been at this level. I never met a coach like Coach Self, especially somebody with a legendary career like he has. I never been surrounded by a community like this, so it's definitely something that felt like I needed to have humility and understand that. But I think when it comes to putting the team first, is like, because I understand that winning is, if we win, everybody is going to benefit from it. So I understand that. And I also understand that I came late. I came late into a situation where obviously we had Juan, we had KJ, we had Hunter coming back. Those are 3 starters. When I came in the first week of workout, Zeke Mayo was one of the best player. Everybody could agree on he was the best player coming in from the summer. So I understood, like, all right, well, I know I'm coming off the bench. So it's just about how I'm gonna make most of my opportunity and just keep fighting my way in. And then I got a couple games to start, and it was been up and down, obviously, in minutes, whatever the game things. But I think in your head, like, I know I can do way more than what I'm being given. I understand that, this situation is not how I want it to be. I want to be on the court. I want to be playing. I want to contribute to winning at the highest level, right? But I also understand that everybody does. We have a great team. So it's just like, at the end of the day, my time going to come and I just got to be ready for it. And whenever it happens, and then obviously I've been here and Juan went down, which hurts, but I definitely felt like I need to pick him up and pick the team up in a way, and also make most of my opportunity, which I've been trying to do, just make most of my opportunity and showcase that I belong on the court. Like, I belong here. I could get us wins. I could help us win games. I can score the ball. I can do these things at this level. So I think there's been games, obviously I showed it before, but obviously that was probably the biggest game to show, because I had to step in a role that I didn't have to all year. So I think when it comes to just being ready, it's just like everybody feels like they are supposed to have something, or I'm supposed to get this. This is supposed to happen for me. But I stopped thinking like that, obviously, when I got here. But before that, I stopped thinking like that. It's just I'm gonna get what I deserve at some point. And it's a marathon. So it might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow. Saturday I might have the worst game of my life. Monday I might have the best game of my life. Who knows? It's just like, you gotta be ready, you gotta prepare for it, and whatever comes, you gotta be able to handle it. So that's all I've been trying to do.
You said you've never been around somebody like Bill Self. What do you mean by that?
Oh yeah, he's the craziest coach I've ever been around. Definitely the craziest coach. But he's funny, he's cool, but he's also, I never been around a coach that cared about winning so much, and really doesn't care about too much about winning. I never been around that, but also never been around a program that's ran this way. So I never been around somebody who thinks the way he does. Every little detail, every second, every moment matters. Like, just somebody with his mindset. So I never been around that. So that's been a blessing to be around and see that. Obviously at this level is like, damn, like, he still take, after he accomplished so much, how serious he still takes every day. But how he also has a personality to have fun with what he's doing too. And he kind of want that, he likes to have that energy around. And me and him always joking and talking crap to each other. So that's good too. That's a relationship that we have. But
Yeah.
it's definitely been a crazy experience. So
When you talk to your friends back from the East Coast,
yeah,
and they ask them, man, what is Kansas like?
yeah.
What do you say?
I say it is a special place. What's crazy is last year I played for obviously I went to Northern Illinois. My two assistant coaches I had on the team, Shane Southwell and
Yeah.
my guy J.O., right? So they both went to K-State.
Yeah.
So they will always tell me that Kansas is special, like the state is special. I don't know why it's special. And they will always tell me about like the different, obviously, being in Kansas State, obviously going to Kansas, they don't lose at home. It was the craziest play. Allen Fieldhouse crazy. And it was just like coming here now, like now I'm seeing, I'm like, I don't know why, but this place is special. Like it just feels different being here. You know what I'm saying? It definitely feels different being here. So I just be telling them that, and they'll come here, they came to a couple games and just be like, and it's nothing like this place. Like it's hard to describe it, but the energy is different, especially around basketball. It's different. I never
Yeah.
experienced something like it, so I definitely just say that Kansas is a special place.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you can feel it when you walk into the building. You can feel
Yeah,
the history, you can feel the community, and all that. And it's always fun because when you get players in that come from other parts of the country or other parts of the world, because they get to experience it, for the first time. So I love asking that question. Before we wrap it up, and I really appreciate your time, man. You've been very generous to
sure.
and I, like I said, I really hope, as much as anything, that young people are watching this, because I think there's so many lessons about life to be taken from your journey.
Yeah,
You said you like the small players, because I always, like I said, I always rooted for the little guys when I would see them in
yeah.
the game. You mentioned the guys that went to Kansas. Who were some other ballers that like basketball players as a kid or whoever that you admired and looked up to the most?
Um, Obviously you got like your Kyries, your Allen Iversons, but just I would say the people that had the most impact on me, Myles Powell for sure. Went to Seton Hall. He one of the best players to ever come out of where I'm from. Myles Powell, Isaiah Briscoe, that was like a main. He was crazy. He was crazy. Um, I would say them two. Tremont Waters, he went to LSU. Very tough guard, small guard. Shabazz Napier, Ryan Boatwright, went to UConn, got that natty. Um, those are probably the main ones that really had a lot of impact on me, like coming up. Myles Powell with the biggest impact just because he from Trenton, New Jersey, 15 minutes away from me. Uh, I grew up around him. Obviously, his closest friends is people that I grew up with that I always admire. And I think just his story and how he carried himself and how he was always down to earth and had humility and but he was playing at the highest level, it was, and also being around, you could always be in the gym with him. You always could talk to him. You always could reach out to him. So I think he probably had the biggest impact on me. Definitely, coming up, especially it was just an inspiration. So.
So I was expecting to hear Nate Robinson in there because he
Nah,
played in New
nah,
York. Little
nah.
guy, no, not a
Nah, he
fan.
tough. Nate was crazy though, but it was like I like all he was an underdog too, but I like the
Hmm.
underdogs. Obviously, people that's from where I'm from or like
Yeah,
around me that I got to see. Like that's why Myles
yeah,
Powell had the biggest
gotcha.
impact on me because I got to see him up close. I got to really see him working out. I got to see
Hmm.
him really. Obviously, went to Seton Hall, so I was watching every game. Like I got to see it right in front of my face. Like him coming up and him like just evolving and the impact that he had on not just me but the people around us. Yeah, like he was the
Hmm.
inspiration. He was the motivation when we was coming up. So when I was coming up for sure. So
Okay, my last thing, because I mentioned it, your story to me is one that even as a grown man I could take lessons from.
for sure.
And you just referenced these people that had an impact on you. I know you're still trying to accomplish things in your life, but are you
Yeah.
already conscious of the fact that you're a role model, like that kids that could be looking at you as a source of inspiration for how to do what they want to do in life? Is that even something that you think about at this point in your life?
Um, it's something that I think that I want to be. Not that I think that I am that already. It's something that I want to be that's important to me. Like it's something that's part of the reason probably why I post on social media, post basketball things, because if it was up to me, I wouldn't have a phone. I'll just be out the way. My family and our friends only could contact me. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, like I said, Myles Powell did that for me. Just him posting on Instagram and I got to access it. I got to watch him on YouTube. It was a different type of inspiration for me. So I try to be that for anybody. If I could be that for one kid, it's a blessing. So I try to do that. I wouldn't say that I am that already. I don't know if I am. I don't know if I have impact on people, but I understand that you know, multiple people have reached out and families and all that, especially being here that that people are watching me. So it's definitely something I think about and something I take serious every day. And I do want to be an inspiration for people, regardless of the situation, just having an underdog story and just feeling like you're back against the wall and you just got to find a way to fight and find a way to get out. So I think I definitely do want to be that. So it does mean a lot to me.
Let me tell you something, man. There are thousands of people watching you and kids that have dreams too. And whether it's basketball or something else in life, the things that you've shown already is you have a story to tell. You know, you have advice to give. And I'm just, as the old man sitting here, you know, listening to it, I think it's a really powerful thing. And I know you're being humble about, you know, not viewing yourself in that way too much, but at the same time, make sure that you really embrace that, because I think to bring this thing full circle, what I would love for people to take away from this conversation is when you get somewhere, when your dreams are coming true, right? You said that. I'm sitting here speaking with the man whose dreams have come true. When that happens, it has to happen because of you. Like you've got to do the things you have to do, but it also isn't just you, right? You listed off, I don't know how many different people that had an impact on your life you listed off. So in order for anybody that's younger to get to where they want to go, they got to have help and advice and inspiration from people like you. What a legacy that is too, man. It's really cool. You're living your dream, man. You can help some other people live theirs too. It's pretty awesome.
Well, appreciate that. You mean a lot.
Hey, Diggy, David, it was great talking to you, man. I'm serious, man. It's really cool to watch you do your thing, and I can't wait to see what comes next for you with this basketball season. And I hope I get a chance to catch up with you again sometime soon.
Sure, I appreciate you for having me. It means a lot.
All right, hey guys, that is David Coit. A great story right here at the University of Kansas. We'll wrap things up on the Jayhawker podcast right after this.
You scroll, tap, swipe, text, call, and do a lot more on your phone. None of us can fathom life without all the world's knowledge in our pocket. We use phones for just about everything. But when it comes to doing the bigger things, like streaming, gaming, and working, you shouldn't be limited to just your phone screen or mobile plan. You see, millions of Americans don't have home internet. They're forced to do everything on their phone or through their mobile service via a hotspot. Or they go to public spaces and use unsecure Wi-Fi, which can be problematic when dealing with personal or sensitive information. You deserve reliable home internet to fit your life and your budget. And right now, Internet Essentials Plus from Xfinity is free through the Affordable Connectivity Program. Get unlimited data and equipment included with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/free to see if you qualify. Restrictions apply. After program participation ends, Comcast standard charges, taxes, and fees apply. May not be combined with other offers.
I had this patient. His cancer treatment had him in the hospital for a while. One day, he was telling me about his grandson and how a big night was coming up for him. So we arranged to make it a big night for my patient too. I sometimes wonder if I'm doing all I can. Then I help make a moment like this possible, and I know I am.
All right, our thanks again to Kansas guard David Coit for joining us on the show today. As we wrap things up, it is time now for our Call of the Game, brought to you by the Hilton President Hotel, the only hotel in the Power and Light District, just steps from T-Mobile Center. Over 200 rooms and suites to choose from. Call 816-221-9490 or online at presidentkansascity.hilton.com.
Paul, little stop and go. A lob at Shiem. Blocked by Flory. Erased by Bidu.